Hello, I'm Janna, and welcome back to the Crafty Corner. Today, we're going to be having some fun making a paper basket. And we're also going to be taking a look at the brand new Tim Holtz Idea-ology palette paper collection. We've now got teal, blue, and indigo. If you'd like to see exactly which supplies we're going to be using, go ahead and pause here. All right, let's head over to the Crafty Corner. Today I got my hands on the new Tim Holtz palette collection, and we have got some lovely new papers to play with. So we're going to take a look at these just to see what patterns there are, and then we're going to create a project featuring some of the brand new papers. So I did get these in both sizes, but for the sake of the camera, it is a bit easier to look at the 8x8s while on screen. Let's start with the teal collection. So just open this up and we'll go through the prints. So we have those beautiful collage strips that we've seen in the past, but done in the teal patterns. I'm really drawn immediately to the butterflies and some of these very vintagey prints. And of course, these are double-sided. Now, this paper right here, the second I saw that one really caught my eye, and this one is going to feature in today's basket making project. It is super pretty, and just the teal with that bit of coral on top, it's very eye-catching. All right, now we've got one of those little ditty prints. We've got that really fine detail. It's very lovely. Now it's interesting, my camera's actually making this a little bit bluer than it is. It's a little bit more green off screen, which is very interesting. All right, there's this side. Ooh, so pretty. We've got all those wonderful ticket pieces. Very fun. All right, now we've got kind of the teal collage piece. And this side we have a map. That's pretty cool. I do love the map pieces. They're just, I don't know, they're intriguing. To me, maps just say adventure, and it makes me want to read something. All right, now we have the stamp collection. Very cool. Lots of interesting stamps. And the back side, we've got that beautiful marble color. This one is really neat. It's very dark, and it's, oh, I don't know. There's just something about it. It makes me think of a book cover, but like this would be so cool, like to wallpaper a library with. Love it. And the back side, we've got the butterflies and moths. All right, this one I absolutely fell in love with because it also, as you know, is in the fabric line as well by Free Spirit. This just translates so well from the fabric to the paper and vice versa. Definitely a fun background, and like this could make a great cover for an art journal. All right, now it looks like we're getting back into the repeats, so we're just gonna quickly flip through, make sure we didn't miss anything. Yeah, we're into the doubles at the moment. More of that lovely marbling. And there's that second set of collage strips. And now we have the long strips of paper. And these are doubled, of course. So that is the teal collection. Lots of great prints. I'm looking forward to slicing and dicing a lot of this. Definitely thinking paper flowers could be really fun. Of course, I want to make lots of cards with these as backgrounds. I do love having a printed background. It's a great foundation and a wonderful jumping off point when you're getting into making a project. All right, so that's the teal. Now let's check out the blue. This one is very cool. I was very excited for this one because of the eggs. So this is the blue. We've got our collage strips first. Lovely patterns as always. And a lot of familiar pieces if you're familiar with the Idea-ology collections. This one right here, that's from a much larger piece. And I've definitely used that in a few projects. That dog is pretty familiar. You've probably seen him before. And we know we've seen the game boards. All right, at this side we have a blue floral plant print. Very pretty. Now we've got a handwriting sample on a blue paper. Back side, we have the stamp collection. Very cool. And then we get to the eggs. All right, these I was so excited about for the blue palette collection. The eggs are just so fun, and I really want to do a journal cover with this. I may need to get more than one pack of paper because that print is fantastic. I'm kind of wanting to get this in the fabric. I'm not sure. Maybe I have it in the fabric already. I will have to look. But it's a really good print either way. And then we've got kind of a paint swatch. That's very pretty. Now the map, this one is definitely pretty dark. I love that. That would make a great book cover. We've got our tickets. Here are the game boards. And the very fine print. That one, oh, it's a little trippy. I'm not going to look at that too long. All right. And now we're into the repeat section. So just quickly flipping through so we can get to those long strips. Okay, and here are the strips. These would make great belly bands for cards, or you could use these as some fodder for collage. So, lots of good things. So, that completes the blue collection. Let's go ahead and just quickly put that back in here, and then we're going to take a look at indigo. So indigo is the last one that we got this month, and there will be a final set release, but we're going to have to wait until July. It's going to be a hard wait, but we'll make it. I'm very excited for July because we're going to see that multicolored set come out, and we'll also have the purple one. I know this is the third one. I can't think of what it is offhand. I think it might be brown. All right, let's take a look. This is indigo. Okay, we have our collage strips. Oh, I love that house. That's one of my favorite pieces of ephemera, along with that compass rose. Very fun. We have our very thin print right here, very light. That one, messing with my eyes just a little bit. Ah, love this. We've got the handwriting one. Very nice. Ooh, that is so pretty. I hope I have that in the fabric. If I don't have that in fabric already, I need to get it. That's a great fabric type of print. All right, we've got the map. Very cool. I do love a good map. I'm trying to see where this might be from. Oh, this is New York, Manhattan. Okay, then we have our stamps. The back side is a map. Ah, we have a really cool lettered print. This is fun. So we've got a marble on the back. There's that one again. We've got our stamps. Here are the tickets. Very cool. Ooh, I do love that floral print. That is really nice. Very, very pretty. Okay, you know, this is interesting. I just noticed something, I think. No, I don't know why. It felt like there's more patterns in the indigo than the others. It must be imagining that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. It is the same. I don't know why. It feels like there's more patterns in the indigo. Unless I just missed something. I don't know. Alright, either way, moving right along. We've got that pretty floral. Alright, still loving that. And that kind of metro text is just fun. Alright, there's that marble, and here are the strips of paper. So again, great pieces for collaging. Okay, so that is the palette paper collection for now. Can't wait to see what July holds for us. And we'll just put that right back in here. And it is time to start looking at building our paper basket. Now for the paper basket, we have a little bit of cutting and measuring to do. So if you've got a scoreboard, I highly recommend pulling it out. You're going to need 2 pieces of 12 by 12 paper. right, let's back things out a bit. We're going to need to see what we are doing. And we'll just scoot this over. There we go. All right. Should be good. This is going to be like our accent paper, so I'm going to set this aside for the moment and we'll come back to that after. But right now, let's get our basic measurements. And we also will need to make at least one cut. So we're going to be trimming this down to 11 by 8.5. I'm going to pause for a second and we'll be right back once we have that dimension. Now it's super important that we save the remaining bit of paper that's going to come off. We're going to need that for another step. Now have our paper cut, so let's make our marks. We're going to start with our paper in landscape and we're going to be marking at 4 inches and 7 inches. So right here and right here. Then we're going to flip our paper and we're going to be marking at 1 3/4. And 6 3/4. Great. So now that this is done, we can put our scoreboard aside. Put that back, move that over, and I'm going to quickly grab a piece of paper because we're going to make a couple of extra marks. So I want to make a little triangle right here. I'm just putting my pencil down in this corner, and we're going to draw just a little triangular wedge. This is going to help with the assembly process when we start gluing things together. So just like that, we're making a little tab. And we'll turn and we're going to do the same thing on this side, and then we're going to start cutting. So I do want to mention that I found this basket pattern from Julie Ferguson. She has a wonderful YouTube channel and I'm currently participating in her spring tag flip. And the basket was one of the requirements of things that we needed to make. So I thought this would be a great time to pull out the new Tim Holtz paper packs and make a basket with them. Of course, with anything, we have to give it a Tim Holtz twist. All right. So now I'm cutting on the crease line and I'm also cutting out that little triangular wedge. This is going to make our life a lot easier when we go into assembly mode. Okay, just like that. There we go. Turn. We'll cut the other side. I'm using my tonic snips, which makes life a lot easier when cutting things out. Okay, great. So we have that ready, and that means we can now start folding things together to make the basket. We're going to fold things up, and we're going to fold things down, and then we can turn things and start getting these sides. But I think we'll rotate that paper first, just so it's going to be a little bit easier to put things together. All right, fold and fold. And of course, got to clear off our scraps. Just drop that right into recycling. I'm definitely of the mind of clean as you go. Now, you're going to see how this is going to come together. So the sides come up. Just like that. And that makes us a nice little base for our basket. So, we're not going to glue just yet because I need to add the panels in for our lovely Idea-ology paper. This is the paper that I picked, and I'm going to be making a few marks so that we can figure out exactly where things are going to get placed. All right, and then I will probably maneuver those numbers so that they're a little bit friendlier. So for the largest panel, we need to cut 2 pieces. And we're going to be cutting them at, let's see, hopefully this number is going to be relatively nice. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 3/4 by 1, 2, 3, 3 1/2. And I'll need to do 2 of those. I'll come back in just a moment and we'll talk about the second measurement. Just to reiterate, that first large panel is going to come in at 4 1/2 by 3 1/2. And we'll need to cut 2 of them. Now for that smaller side, let's bring this in. Okay, let's measure that out. So the next one, that's 3 inches, so I want that to be 2 1/2 by 2 1/2 by 3 1/2, and we'll need another 2 of them. Okay, so these are 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. Great. And we're going to need one more piece. We're going to be making the handle as well. For this piece, all we're doing is folding this very long strip kind of, well, you're not quite folding it in half. We're folding it into thirds. So just to be clear, this part is going to be folded into thirds. So we're going to just run a line right down on the 1 inch and one down on the 2 inch, and then I'm going to cut off the extra bit after 3 inches. Okay, because we want to make the handle kind of thick, a little bit chunky, because we want it to have stability. But since we know that this is a 1 inch segment, that means we're going to be cutting our decorative piece at 3/4 of an inch. Now let's put some of these panels on. So we can easily do the large panels first, and I'm going to be bringing in the ATG tape gun. So we're just going to run some adhesive, and then we'll be able to stick this down. There we go. Working our way around. Excellent. So if you have a paper that has a specific pattern, make sure you remember which way is up. This is the base, this part is going up, and this part right now is facing down. So I am going to try to be careful just to make sure that I'm lining things up so it looks logical. Okay, there we go. That's one. And you know what? I will try not to confuse myself and just turn that. Let's add some more tape. Just keep rotating that. And a little bit in the middle. And we'll place this right here. Okay, now we can see about putting the rest of this together. So pretty simply, it's going to fold in. And to give myself a little bit more stability, I am going to bring in a stapler. Since we're going to have this panel hidden anyway, I do not mind adding some staples to this for stability. Okay, and now I'm going to add a bit of glue to bring this up and finish it off. Then we can add our panels. So we've got collage medium, also going to just sneak a little bit of glue under here just to try to strengthen that just a bit. So, a bit of glue, smush that around, and we'll just hold that there for about 20 seconds just to give the glue a moment to adhere, and then we'll add our panels. Pretty good. Now let's add one of our side panels. Again, going in with ATG tape. There we go. All right, we're going to take this. I'm just turning that just a little bit, lining this up as best we can to be even. And we'll just stick that right down. There we go. Now let's just flip things over and do the same to the other side. So I'll sneak a little bit of glue under here. There we go. And put plenty of glue on the flap. Give that a little smush. And again, we'll hold that for about 20-ish seconds. Okay, now we'll add that final panel. Take that, run our tape. Okay, and we'll take this, place that just about here. That seems good. All right. So now we have the base of our basket. The next thing we're going to want to do is put the handle together. So for the handle, I'm going to be using a combination of glue and tape. Scribble that down. Fold that over. I'm going to do another scribble going the other way. And fold that over again. And we'll hold this for a bit of time, and then we'll add the decorative piece. That's looking really good. Let's add our decorative strip. So I'm going to take 2 long runs of ATG tape. There we go. Okay, and we'll just take that, flip it over. I'm going to put this right here, line it up, and let that run all the way down. And we're just going to trim off that little extra bit. And I'm just kind of smoothing it with my hand so that it's going to get a nice natural curve. It's going to make the paper want to bend. There we go. So we're going to have a nice basket handle. So I'm just kind of shaping this with my hands until we have a very nice curve to work with. Okay, so now we need to attach our handle to our basket, and then we can see about doing a little bit of decoration on the front. So now we're going to attach the handle. It's all nice and curvy and pretty easy to bend, and I decided to punch it with the crocodile because it has got the best amount of punching power. So we're just going to line that up just about here, punch one side, punch the other, then we'll need to punch the basket as well. Okay, this won't be too bad. Making sure we're lined up, best guess. Okay, and flip. And again, best guess. Okay, so we have our holes. Now, I found these really cool brads. They've been in my stash for just a bit. These have got little gems in them. They're so cool. So I thought that'd be perfect for our basket. So just threading that through, flip it over. It's a little hard to see. I'm going to see if I can't get a better angle. Yeah, like that. And then just turn the pieces of the brad down. There we go. And move around to the other side. We'll thread this. Thread that. Turn it so we can try to see what we're doing. And just fold those down. And look at that. Zoom out a little bit. Ooh. I think that just looks really good. It matches the theme that we have going. And speaking of theme, I've got some ideology pieces over here for us to add to our basket. Pretty happy with that. It's cute, and the colors from the Tim Holtz palette are perfection. So we've got some pieces to play with, and these will need a bit of trimming, but this year has been all about using up the stash. So we're going to be putting these pieces on here, and we're going to do that with some foam squares. That way we can have a little bit of dimension. And I've got two different thicknesses of foam squares. We've got the thin ones and we have the extra thick ones, of course, from Simon Says Stamp. But this is just a nice, easy way to attach embellishment pieces to a project. All right, and we are going to do a little bit of trimming. So I'm just going to turn this on the side and snip. And need to do another snip here. Okay, and a little bit on the side. Just trimming this down. Great. And now I can add this piece in. That's also going to need a little bit of a trim. Let's get a couple of these thicker foams. Just peel the backings right off. There we go. We'll take that and stick it down here. Great. And again, turning this to the side and just doing a little bit of trimming. Not terrible. Not a ton of trimming, just a little bit. Okay, I'm liking that already. So we'll turn. Let's take care of the other side. I might come back and add one or two more things. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm still kind of in the process of figuring it out. So for this side, I know that's going to go there, and this piece is going to be along here. So we'll start with the thin foams first. One here, one there. Okay, good. And turn. Do a couple of snips. Another couple of very little snips on this side. Not much overhang. That's great. And now we want our larger foams for this piece. And just like that, we have our foams on, moving right along, just peeling these off the back. Good. And let's add them. Ooh, I don't think I have to trim. Cool. So for this side, I want to add a butterfly. So all of these pieces are from Tim Holtz Idea-ology. A lot of this is from Field Notes or Botanical. Okay, I like that. And now on this side, I want to add a word card. And I thought smile would be perfect. And for that, we'll use a couple of the low foams. So we can just slide that right here. Okay, there we go. I am happy with our tote. We've got a bit of bling, we've got our decorations on here. We were able to incorporate the new Tim Holtz paper pack from Idea-ology Pallet. But you know what? I want to do one more thing. Just one more. I think this needs just a touch of lace. And I think just going around the edges would look great. So we're going to grab a hot glue gun and we're going to add that little bit of lace. Now the question is, do I want to do a little bit like this, kind of folded in half, or do I want to have the full bit? I'm leaning towards folding it in half just because we're using the hot glue. Okay, so let's grab our hot glue and we're going to start working our way around. Now, I'm going to start right where the brad is, so we're going to have to take that out a moment. And let's add our glue. Uh-oh, that glue is a little bit yellow. I'm not liking that. Let's see. I might have to change plans if it shows through too much. Is that going to show a lot? I am not sure. Don't think it's too bad. Just going to check the glue off to the side and make sure it's not going to continually be yellow. Oh, that is a lot of yellow. Why is it so yellow? All right, it is starting to lighten, so maybe it won't be such a big deal. Oh, I'm wondering why my glue is so yellow. Eee, I'm wondering if it's time for a new hot glue gun. Is it like rusted or something? What's going on here? Very bizarre. I do not recall it being so yellow before. Okay, it's starting to loosen up. There we go. All right, so let's keep going. Just going to keep that glue as light as I can. We're just going to turn this, fold it, and stick it. I'll have some glue strands that need taken care of, but so far so good. Just kind of holding things down, letting it set up, trying not to let the glue get the better of me today. Okay. Think we're doing all right. All right, I'm going to stick the glue gun back on its charger just a moment, and we're going to take care of that handle that I popped off. So we're just going to take that. Actually, I might just have to take the handles off until we're done gluing. Interesting. Very interesting. You know, that's really weird. It's got a bit of a yellow tint to it. Now I'm kind of wondering what I can do to cover that, because that's not turning out the way I wanted it to. I don't know why. It gets a little better on some parts, but then it gets a little wonky. All right. We'll figure out something. All right, continuing along, keeping this as light as we can. Gonna just keep folding that in half, and there we go. This side is looking all right. It's not terrible. Weird. Very weird. Okay. Let's do this side next. Keeping it light, moving that along. Take our lace, folding it down. And gently tapping that onto the side. Okay, so far so good. And let's turn. And last side, just a little itty bit of glue, keeping that strand as neat as possible. Okay. It's very bizarre. I don't know, I kind of want to just do like another layer of lace around until there, and maybe that will help camouflage. Let's do that. I think that'll work. Okay, so now that we've kind of got the light-handed thing down, we're just going to very lightly add that bit of glue. Keep the lace going. Just making sure that's high so it covers. Good. That is working. Weird. Okay, and let's finish that off. There we go, very, very thin. Okay, that seems to have worked. Now we can't see that terrible yellow line. All right, but now we need to add those handles back. Ooh, and I've got one heck of a glue mess on the mat, but you know what? The nice thing about this being silicone, it just peels right up. But I still want to know why I've got this horrible yellow glue. I'm kind of thinking that maybe I had stuff burn on at one point and just didn't clean the nozzle well enough, and now it's just discoloring everything. My other thought is, can glue sticks actually age? Do they yellow over time? I'm not quite sure how long I've had those in my stash, so that is making me very curious. All right, let's put that handle back. There we go. Turn it and do the other side. This is not nearly as hard as it looks. It just pokes right through the lace. There we go. Okay. Now I am much happier with that. That works. And that looks really cute with the lace tucked under. Neat. So we have now got our completed basket. Let's go ahead and just load it up to see how this looks all finished. We'll be back in just a moment. Here is our finished basket, and this is with it loaded with most of our fun little treats for the spring tag swap. But the main thing is we got to play with some paper folding techniques, and we made this adorable paper basket featuring the Tim Holtz Idea-ology palette collection. We ended up playing with the teal palette, and I just love the pattern that we ended up with. It's so pretty, and it just complements so many other things in the line. Of course, lots of ideology added. We've got layers and ephemera, and I also found a couple of cool things in my crafty stash that needed a good play. We added in this really lovely Victorian themed lace, and I also found these gorgeous sparkling brads. They've got like little gemstones in them, and I think that adds just the perfect touch to the basket. Thank you so much for joining me here today at the Crafty Corner for some paper crafting fun. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video, and until next time, happy crafting!